Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Tuesday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. Today is April 2nd, 2019. And now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a 22-year-old Fort Lewis College student escaped with minor injuries early Sunday after rolling her SUV 8 to 10 times down a 150-foot embankment on Mullis Pass. Bridget Gant crawled out of her demolished car on her own and hiked up the embankment to find help, she said. Bridget Gant was driving a Nissan Xterra south on U.S. Highway 550, returning to Durango from Ouray about 5 a.m. when she drove into a blinding snowstorm that obscured her view of the highway, she said. She slowed down to about 25 miles per hour and turned her all-wheel drive on, she said. Without realizing it, Gant crossed into the northbound lane of traffic and approached the side of the road. She tried to correct the vehicle's path, but it was too late, and she slid off the side of the road. It felt like it came to a stop against a small snowdrift about a foot high at the side of the road, and she reached for her gear shift to reverse the car, she said. Then the car tilted and started to roll. The car rolled 8 to 10 times before coming to a stop less than a mile from Lime Creek Road, Rod Gant said.
Reported in the Journal, photo Brian Maffley, Salt Lake Tribune file. Exactly 2 years to the day, the saga of a Durango man accused of trying to kill cattle after he closed the gate to a corral in southeastern Utah has reached a resolution. Mark Franklin, age 63, faced a maximum sentence of 6 years in jail if convicted for, quote, attempted wanton destruction of livestock, a felony, and trespassing on state trust lands, a misdemeanor, after prosecutors said he intentionally closed the gate to cut cattle off from water on April 1st, 2017. Franklin was supposed to stand trial in Carbon County this week for the charges. On Monday, however, Franklin reached a plea agreement that includes 3 conditions, which, if completed, will result in all charges being dismissed. Quote, I entered this plea to end a long 2-year persecution by San Juan County, Franklin said in a written statement after Monday's hearing. This case was a case that should never have entered the court system. Franklin and his wife, Rose Chilcote, a local environmentalist who was also charged in the incident but had all of her charges dismissed, have maintained the charges are retaliation for Chilcote's years of environmental work in San Juan County, where public land and grazing issues are contentious. San Juan County Attorney Kendall Laws, who prosecuted the case, has adamantly denied any such influence. In an interview Monday with the Durango Herald, Laws said the evidence collected that day warranted the charges, but he said the agreement reached Monday is a fitting outcome. Quote, at the end of the day, it's a fair resolution for everybody, he said. The felony, quote, wanton destruction of livestock charge was reduced to attempted criminal mischief, a Class B misdemeanor, and the Class A misdemeanor for trespassing remained the same. Over the next year, Franklin must meet 3 terms of his plea agreement to have all charges dismissed. No new criminal charges, must pay a $1,000 fee, and must stay off certain state trust lands, barring emergency situations. Franklin said in a statement he would have liked to have gone to trial to have all the facts of the incident brought to light, but he didn't want to run the risk of a jury trial.
According to the Cortez Journal, state foresters are urging residents near Colorado Springs to cut and treat the trees and branches downed by the powerful storm that struck the area in mid-March. The Gazette reports the Colorado State Forest Service is looking to avoid an infestation of bark beetles that tend to prey on small, newly fallen trees and branches. According to the State Forest Service, its beetles usually lay their eggs in mid-April. The larvae mature within 8 weeks and then spread to new trees to feast. Forester Dave Root says the first brood of beetles should die if people treat the branches properly. According to the National Weather Service, the Black Forest area recorded gusts of 84 miles per hour during the bomb cyclone storm.
From CPR, file photo. The Democrat-controlled Colorado legislature sent a red flag bill on Monday to the governor that calls for taking firearms from people who could pose a threat to themselves or others. Governor Jared Polis, also a Democrat, has pledged to sign the measure that would place the state among 13 others that have passed such legislation. Florida passed its law after the 2018 Parkland school massacre. The controversial bill would allow family, household members, or law enforcement to petition a court to have guns seized or surrendered. A subsequent court hearing could extend a gun seizure up to 364 days. The bill places the burden of proof on the gun owner to get the firearms back by showing that he or she no longer poses a risk. The Republicans repeatedly sought to shift that burden of proof to those seeking the protective order. They argued the legislation offers no due process to gun owners. Republicans also say it violates constitutional rights and could lead to violent confrontations if a judge orders police to confiscate firearms from a resistant owner. One of the bill's strongest opponents, Republican Weld County Sheriff Steve Reams, said he'll even risk a contempt of court citation rather than enforcing a judge's order to confiscate guns. Reams argues the measure is unconstitutional and predicts a spate of lawsuits to challenge the law if Polis signs it. Quote, "I'd much rather be held in contempt of court than violate someone's constitutional rights, and that action could result in me being sentenced to my own jail," Reams said. The state House voted 38 to 25 Monday to approve Senate amendments to the bill. This bill will give law enforcement and families the tools that they need to stop tragedies from constantly happening and save lives, said first-term Representative Tom Sullivan, who sponsored the bill with House Majority Leader Alec Garnett, both Democrats. Opponents say about half of the counties in the state have passed resolutions opposing the bill, symbolically declaring their counties, quote, Second Amendment sanctuaries. That includes Dolores County. Some of the mostly rural counties said they will back sheriffs who do not enforce the measure and will not spend any money to store confiscated guns. State Attorney General Phil Weiser, a Democrat, has said sheriffs who don't want to enforce the measure should resign. Polis, however, said on March 26 that he believes sheriffs are committed to enforcing laws approved at the Capitol. Polis also said sheriffs have discretion to decide which issues to focus on. It's the first major gun legislation to make its way through both Colorado legislative chambers since 2013, when lawmakers passed universal background checks and banned large-capacity ammunition magazines after 2012 mass shootings in Aurora, Colorado, in the theater and at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. Voters subsequently recalled two Democratic lawmakers for supporting the measures. A third resigned rather than face a recall. Measures to recall the current governor are underway with support from a growing number of constituents.
According to the Durango Herald, the importance of planning, practice, and attention to small details to keep schools safe were highlighted Monday by John Michael Keys, who started the I Love You Guys Foundation in 2006 after his daughter Emily was killed in a school shooting. Keys led a workshop Monday hosted by Durango School District 9R at the Doubletree Hotel, attended by 140 school officials from around the Four Corners, including the Aztec, Bayfield, Dolores school districts, and the San Juan Board of Cooperative Educational Services. The question arose, can we do anything to prevent or minimize this? The answer turned out to be yes, Keys said, as school officials began searching for ways to provide more robust school security and safety after the Columbine High School shooting in 1999. Keys said the I Love You Guys Foundation partnered with the Center for the Study and Prevention of Violence at the University of Colorado Boulder to develop protocols and methods to put in place. The protocols allow school officials to train with first responders in ways to increase security and minimize violence if a school is targeted by a mass shooter. The practices have been distributed free through the Foundation's Standard Response Protocol and the Standard Reunification method in thousands of schools across the country. The programs have created common methodologies for school lockdowns, lockouts, and evacuations, and for reuniting parents and guardians with their children after a school shooting. Standardization of plans allows for school officials, police, EMTs, and other first responders to work cooperatively from one playbook in the event of a school shooting. Keys compared planning, preparing, and practicing for school shootings to requiring sprinkler systems in schools and developing building codes to prevent or minimize damage from school fires. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The local area DCTV 5-day outlook shows today 30% chance for scattered showers, mainly after 4 p.m., and then mostly cloudy with a high near 53 for the day with south-southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, a remaining 30% chance for scattered rain showers before 4 in the morning, and then scattered rain and snow showers possible when you wake up. Mostly cloudy with a low around 36 degrees. South-southwest winds remain around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So Wednesday, the possibility increases to a 50% chance of scattered rain and snow showers before 10 a.m. And then scattered rain showers and some thunder is also possible. Mostly cloudy with a high near 53 degrees. Though there may be snow, the prediction is that little or no snow accumulation is expected. On to Wednesday night, it tapers off with just a 20% chance of showers before midnight, partly cloudy with a low around 33. And warming up Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 57 degrees. Thursday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 37. And Friday, partly sunny with a high near 58 degrees. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 36. And then into the weekend, Saturday, unfortunately, a slight chance of showers may be back on tap for the afternoon, partly sunny with a high near 56 degrees. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 34. And then a nice warm sunny Sunday with a high near 60 degrees. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 36. And now, back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, last week the city of Cortez and town of Mancos both passed proclamations declaring next March to be Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. The proclamations were issued at respective council and board meetings, with both governing bodies taking the time to honor a few local nonprofits that serve Montezuma County's disabled community. March is Developmental Disability Awareness Month, and public awareness and education enhances a community's understanding of its members living with an intellectual or developmental disability, Cortez Mayor Karen Sheik read aloud from the proclamation at the city's regular meeting on March 26th. The Mancos meeting happened the following day. Both proclamations noted that over 7 million people in the United States live with an intellectual or developmental disability, such as cerebral palsy, autism, and Down syndrome. In Colorado, an estimated 56,800 to 113,600 people live with an intellectual or developmental disability, according to the proclamations. The council and board members recognized local organizations, Community Connections, and the Arc of Southwest Colorado for supporting county residents living with a disability. Community Connections provides comprehensive support for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Southwest Colorado. The nonprofit is headquartered in Durango, but also operates out of 2 Cortez sites, one along South Harrison Street and another along South Pine Street. It currently serves 92 children and adults in Montezuma County, according to the proclamations. The ARC is in Durango and also provides a range of supports for the local disabled community. It serves 14 children in the county, according to the 2 proclamations.
From Fox 31 News, more and more veterans are turning to CBD in Colorado following the legalization of hemp-derived CBD in December. The annual Northern Colorado Hemp Expo drew record crowds over the weekend with the focus on CBD products. Quote, "We're trying to offer a different option," says Steve Danluck, owner of Warfighter Hemp. "The need is still there for our wounded men and women." Warfighter Hemp is a company that sells various CBD products. Half of their profits are donated to charities that help veterans. The industry has exploded over the past few months following President Trump's signature on the Farm Bill, which federally legalized hemp in 2018. Hemp is defined in that legislation as a cannabis plant, the same plant that produces marijuana. The major difference is that hemp cannot contain more than 0.3% of THC, the compound in cannabis that produces a high. Dr. Kamal Khalsi is now a spokesperson for Warfighter Hemp after realizing the health benefits following 19 years in the military. Quote, "We took care of hundreds of combat casualties," he says. "I took care of a lot of patients that needed opiates for pain control. Unfortunately, we fueled the opiate crisis by doing so." When he returned from active duty, he realized something needed to be done and started recommending CBD to his patients. "I've had patients come to me and say, quote, 'I'm not a zombie anymore,'" he says. "It brings tears to your eyes hearing stories like that because it's made such a profound difference in people's lives."
According to the Cortez Journal, the Mancos School Board unanimously approved next year's academic calendar during its regular meeting March 18th. The upcoming calendar for Mancos School District RE6 looks very similar to that of this year, with the exception of moving spring break up a week in order to better align with the schedules at Fort Lewis College and Pueblo Community College. Durango and Dolores school districts have also followed suit in aligning their schedules with the local colleges. Montezuma Cortez School District RE1 has not, Hansen said. Hansen also brought up other dates that had arisen as points of discussion, including the length of Thanksgiving break and whether or not to hold school on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Veterans Day, and President's Day holidays. The decision to hold Thanksgiving break for a full week was due largely to poor attendance numbers when the district gave students only 2 days off, Hansen had said at a previous meeting. President's Day will continue to be off while school will be in session for MLK and Veterans Day as was the case this year. President's Day provided a needed break for students and staff, Hansen said. The staff felt holding classes on the other two holidays was the best way of honoring MLK and veterans, he said. Graduation will be held on May 17th to avoid conflicting with the state track meet the following week.
From the Durango Herald, photo Jerry McBride. New traffic safety improvements are planned for Wolf Creek Pass. They moved a step closer to reality on Monday when the federal government granted a project $2.4 million. The Colorado Department of Transportation will use the funding for new cameras, signs, and other infrastructure on the west side of Wolf Creek Pass to help prevent crashes, said Julie Constant, CDOT traffic program engineer. One of our biggest issues we have up there is the number of truck crashes. It's the highest number of truck crashes we have anywhere in our region, she said. The project is a high priority and construction could start in summer of 2020, she said. The grant is about 20% of the needed $10 million to $12 million for the project. This is just great seed money and a vote of confidence for this to get going, said Lisa Schwantes, spokeswoman for CDOT. As part of the project, CDOT plans to lay fiber optic lines from the summit of Wolf Creek Pass to Pagosa Springs. Power lines will likely have to be laid for 5 or 6 miles west from the summit of the pass, she said. CDOT laid fiber up the east side of the pass in 2017. The lines will be used to communicate with the newer commercial trucks that can receive real-time messages through their dedicated short-range communications radios, she said. The project is in development, but it could rely on weight scales in the road. As the trucks approach the hairpin turn near the overlook on the west side of Wolf Creek Pass, they could pass over scales in the road that could judge the truck's speed and allow CDOT to send the trucks a message about slowing down, she said. Most of the truck drivers who crash on the pass are first-time drivers who are not familiar with the turn and steep grade of U.S. Highway 160. The lines could also be hooked up to speed limit signs to adjust the speed limit based on weather conditions, and cameras would monitor the truck ramps on the pass. The project also presents an opportunity for other organizations to lay excess fiber that could serve the region's telecommunication needs, she said.
From the Durango Herald, the Regional Transportation District says the 11-mile commuter rail line from downtown Denver to western suburbs will open later this month. The district announced Monday that the delayed G line from Union Station to Wheat Ridge is set to begin operation April 26th. The rail line was originally planned to open in October 2016, but problems with the timing of the crossing gates led to delays. The agency expects to record 9,000 passenger trips per day during the line's first year. Rides on the line will be free for the first 2 days. Officials also say the 2.3-mile light rail extension of the E, F, and R line to Lone Tree will open May 19th.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings. This Friday, April 5th, it's another Get Your Paint On with Ashley Nolan at the State Line Bar and Grill starting at 6 p.m. The class is $30 with 25 seats total. Please reserve a seat as soon as possible as they will fill up fast. They also will run the free shuttle for that night for anyone who wants it. To reserve a seat, you must speak with a State Line employee, call or message them on Facebook. Make sure you get confirmation if you send a message. Their phone number is 970-677-2649. Wednesday night, April 3rd, imagine the Andrews Sisters fronting a band that swings with a dizzying drive of gypsy jazz guitarist Django Reinhardt. They swing, they sway, they rock, and they roar. They need nothing more than their voices to channel rhythm and stoke your emotions, and They'll be in Dolores for one show only at the Dolores River Brewery. The showtime is 8 to 11 p.m. and tickets are $15. And Saturday, April 6th, it's Totally Tomatoes and Peppers, hosted by the Four Seasons Greenhouse on Road P in Dolores from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you've had their winter tomatoes or purchased some of their spring starter plants, you know that Vic, the co-owner, is, quote, Totally Tomatoes. Join him as he explores and walks you through the world of growing tomatoes and peppers from start to finish. And all of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com, or you can call the station, which is 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area, and of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.